Hi friends, this is a plant lover Neil and you are watching Plants My Love. In today's video, we'll look at bone meal, an organic fertilizer which is rich in phosphorus, a very important plant nutrient. We'll first look at how exactly it looks like, and then we'll see what exact role phosphorus plays in the plant development. I'll also show you how I make this at my home. And in the end, we will see how to apply it and which plants are more benefited from this. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So this is bone meal that I created at my home. And I'll show you from close. You can see it's a powdery substance, and basically what it is crushed bones, animal bones. And I'll show you from close. You can see this is basically crushed powdered bones. You can see there's some big pieces also, but mainly it is fully crushed into a powdery substance. This I made at my home itself, and you can also make it quite easily. I'll show you the process, but let's first look at phosphorus and how it benefits plant. It is an essential nutrient for plant development, and it's used throughout the plant growth life cycle. It's used in the photosynthesis process in the transfer of energy. That is how the plant stores the energy. Without phosphorus, it would be very difficult for plant to store the energy in. If you add this to any plant, it will improve its yield. But mainly it is used to improve the yield of rooting crop like radishes, carrots, sweet potatoes, any plant that develops tubers or roots. For roots, this is essential nutrient, root development. Also for any fruiting and any flowering plant, wherever there is energy required by the plant to grow. So for even flowering and fruiting crop, this is quite essential. The main thing is most of the soils are deficient in phosphorus, and plant does not show any symptom of in phosphorus deficiency. You only come to know whether there is some problem with the plant when you see that the yield is very low. That's the only symptom that the plant with phosphorus deficiency shows. So the best thing about bone meal, which is an organic fertilizer, is you cannot kill the plant by over applying it, because it is a slow release fertilizer and this does not dissolve in water, so it gets slowly broken down by the microbial life in the soil or by the soil acidity, and slowly over a period of 4 months or so, nutrients from this bone meal is available to the plants. Now we'll see how I created this in my home. I'll give you a brief overview. If you want to know the exact process, I'll create a separate video showing you the entire process from start to end. Okay friends, so this is my terrace garden, and this is the first stage of development of bone meal fertilizer. That is, you'll have to dry the bones in the sun or wherever you can. Basically, we are living in a subtropic climate in Ahmedabad, and here we get very bright sunshine, and the temperatures are also quite high, like around 40 to 45 degree it goes maximum in the peak summer season. So we can dry it in the sun. It's quite easy to do that in this kind of climate. Basically, this is a solar dryer that I've created using a laptop box. I had discussed about this previously also. So basically, I have cut the laptop box in the middle, and then I have pasted this plastic transparent bag so the light can go inside, and all over the sides of this box I have pasted black paper. This is to ensure that maximum amount of solar radiation is absorbed by the box and the air around the box gets heated up, and in the inside is where all the bones are there. So I'll show you here. This is the haul. So this is all the pieces from our food. Basically, there are chicken bones, there is some goat bones also. You can see over here this big bone over here, and all these bones will get crushed quite easily when it gets completely dried. It will take around 15 days to dry this all completely bone dried. So after that it's crushed up quite easily. I crush it up first using stone. I've got some stones which I roughly crush it up, chop it up into small pieces, and then I use a hand blender to finally crush it into a powder. That is the process. It's as simple as that. If you eat non-veg at your home, collect the bones, dry it out in the sun for at least 15 days, and then you can crush it up into a fine powder, and there you go, you get bone meal for free of cost. So this is how we do it at present, and of course you can buy it from online sources, but there you are not sure what exactly have they crushed and from where they have sourced the bones, whether there's any contaminant that is harmful like bacteria and other things. But here you know that this is food which you have already eaten, and as such you would be throwing it out in the garbage. Instead of that, why not repurpose it, reuse it, make your plants grow and thrive with it. So that is how we do it. Apart from phosphorus, bone meal also provides calcium. The NPK value of bone meal is around 315, that is, it contains 3 parts nitrogen, 15 parts phosphorus, and 0 potassium. So that is the technical values. Now I'll go downstairs and I'll show you in which type of plants you should apply it and how you should apply it, how much quantity you should put. So let's go downstairs. These are the stone tools that I use to crush the bones. Basically, these are stones that we picked up from along the riverside, and I place the bone over here and then I crush it between these two stones like this. You can use a normal mortar piston, and that will also work, in which you grind your masalas. Basically, we want to make the bone pieces smaller in size so that it can be crushed easily by the hand blender. Otherwise, your hand blender will struggle. So now we'll apply this bone meal fertilizer in the plants. Okay, so this is the first plant in which we'll be applying the bone meal fertilizer. You can see this is Adenium desert rose plant, and it's flowering quite nicely. So any flowering plant or any fruiting plant, you can apply it. And actually this also has the beauty of the roots. The larger the root of this plant is, the more beautiful it is. So if you want to increase the root of a plant, then also phosphorus is quite essential. So the application process is very simple. You just have to dig a hole around the root base of the plant like this. You can dig it using any tool and using this sharp object. The idea is to add the bone meal in the rooting zone, so that as mentioned before, this does not get dissolved in water and is only made available when the bacteria decomposes the bone particles or when the soil acidity breaks it down into plant absorbable nutrients. So you have to make sure that it is fully inside the soil so that bacteria can easily break it down. So add around 1 tablespoon is good enough for a proper plant. You cannot kill a plant by over applying bone meal fertilizer, because it's a slow release fertilizer. It's not available to the plants instantly. Now also I'll apply it to my papaya plant. As mentioned, the fruiting plant also gets benefited. See, the papayas are at the top there. So if you want to increase the yield of any crop, bone meal is quite helpful. Again, the same process. I'll apply a larger quantity because it's a bigger plant and it's in the ground. So around the rooting zone, I'll apply it fully around the rooting zone over here. Basically dig a trench kind of, and then I'll water it also. It's quite dry. If you are applying it before planting the plant, then dig a hole where you'll be planting the plant and add the bone meal inside that hole, and then add the plant in later on. So the idea is the same. You have to mix it with the soil so that it decomposes. Yeah, you can see I applied quite a lot, but you cannot overdo it because it's organic fertilizer and it releases quite slowly. Now I'll cover it up, mix it up, and I'll water it also. It's quite dry. You can see this beautiful desert rose plant. It's flowering so nicely. Lovely. I have applied the banana peel fertilizer and this is the result of it. If you have not watched that video, make sure to check that video out. I'll put a I button at the top, and also there will be a link in the video description. Okay, so again the same process. I'll first dig a trench near the rooting zone, then we'll add it there. quantity as I mentioned, 1 tablespoon per pot, or if you're adding it to a plant which is in the ground, then you can add 2-3 tablespoons depending on the plant size. Again, one more adenium plant. We have got a lot of adeniums. You can see the lovely flower. It's the flowering season, so that's why all the plants are in full bloom. And here the temperature at present is around 39 degrees, but in the past week it had reached 42 degrees, and so still this plant thrives in this hot climate. That's why its name is desert rose. There you go. Cover it up. And this is our yellow trumpet. You can see how lovely it's blooming. This plant we had grown through cuttings. I'll link the video in the video description if you have not watched this. It's quite amazing how a small cutting can go into such a big plant, and you can see how lovely it is thriving. And in this also the same process I'll do. Simply go to the rooting zone, and you can see there. Dig a small trench. Make sure not to disturb the roots a lot. Okay, now add it. There you go. Now cover it up. And after applying it, make sure to water it so that the decomposition process will start off. So I hope friends you like this video. If yes, smack that like button, share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel Plant Smeller. This is Neil signing off. Bye.